Good morning, or grand rising, as some would say. Um, if you're seeing this video for the first time, I did post a video the other night. This is the second part to my story of the paranormal experiences that happened around my pregnancies. In the first video, I spoke about my second pregnancy and the experience I had with extraterrestrials. And this one is similar, but it happened in my third pregnancy, which was my last pregnancy, which was quite spiritual itself. If you're new here, I just want to let you know I'm not a big video making person here for YouTube. It's not something that I do often, but there are a few on my channel, and I'm not showing myself because I just am not comfortable being in front of the camera. I don't mind sharing my story though, regardless of my physical appearance. I am quite laid back and a little shy. You would be surprised, but I do love sharing my experiences with you guys. I'm also a writer, and I do practice a type of craft, like many other practitioners and spiritualists here on and tarot card readers. I don't post so much of that anymore. In my first video, I spoke about no longer posting my craft and my altar videos due to the fact that someone very important and very special to me told me to, stop, and that it might not be quite so safe, for fear that someone would see those photos and try to replicate them or copy them and could receive spiritual consequences, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. Not everyone is meant to work with very specific deities and just certain frequencies out there. And I do truly believe that we all have our own magic that is very detailed and tailored to our spirit and our bloodlines. And it's important that we, try to stay with that specific realm of energy that belongs to us. Um, I do believe everybody is really truly gifted. You will eventually find your way. And this particular story is just kind of about me, in the beginning stages of working with my craft, about um, finding my own way and what it's like to actually, conjure something unintentionally. Um, my third pregnancy, when I say was spiritual or mystical to a certain extent, my daughter was conceived with intention by both me and my daughter's father. And we are no longer together. And my daughter is a beautiful 7-year old now. She is bright and very smart, hyperactive, and just a sweetie pie. She's just a beautiful child. And you can see the magic in her. All children are magical, but she's got a different type of spark to her, very childlike. And during my third pregnancy, I was actually practicing for people. I had a small business, me and my daughter's father together, and I would, create spell candles and oils and, intentional waters and things like that. And a lot of what you see, a lot of the witches and practitioners that do on YouTube, I used to do that. And it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of work. And I did it while I was pregnant. And my whole life at this point in time was kind of dedicated to my family and my craft and my spirituality at this time. And even my living room, I didn't have any furniture. And in the middle of my living room was an altar, and I had all these big hippie boho type pillows and these, you know, wall tapestries and things. I think I actually did post a photo. It might still be on this channel under my shorts. I feel like I did post um, those photos of me sitting there, actually meditating at that altar. Um, and I was pregnant around that time. And at one point in time, I had posted some photographs. Like I said, I took a lot of that work down, but there was a photo. It might still be on my TikTok. I don't remember, but there was a photograph of an eye um, in the sky that I had took around that time, and this occurred one day when I was researching. I'm gonna call it an entity, because even after the research that I conducted, I couldn't find any true origin of this entity or where it came from. And the research was very minimal. There wasn't a lot, there were no books on this thing, or even the research consisted of me basically watching a lot of YouTube videos. And I tried to Google as much as I could. There's no actual information on this entity um, that I feel like had something to do with this particular paranormal event that happened. But even the YouTube videos, the people speaking about this entity didn't have very much information either. And they weren't actual teachers or practitioners. They were just people who I think probably had did research themselves. And that earlier that day, before my vision, I took that photo in the sky after doing the research on this entity. And that night, I went to bed and I was really tired. Of course, I was pregnant, and my daughter's father, he lay next to me, and we were talking a little bit, about his day and things like that. And I dozed off, like mid conversation. I was so tired, and I dozed off. And in the first video, I spoke about feeling like was being teleported. Um, the same thing happened this time. When I dozed off, I was immediately teleported. Um, and for me, my visions and my downloads happen when I'm right in the middle of that stage of sleep where you're half awake, half asleep. And in the first video, the extraterrestrial and the doctor or scientist asked me if they could work on me or if they could examine me. And this one, they didn't ask that. Um, in this vision, I was immediately transported, and I was automatically on an exam table, pregnant and everything. And that very same extraterrestrial and scientists were there. And there was another doctor that was there. And the two before, the extraterrestrial and the scientists, um, they were focused heavily on something on my body. I don't know what they were doing, but they were working on me. I couldn't feel anything, but I could feel vibrations and things like that. And the other doctor, the new doctor, um, he was the one doing all the talking. And I don't know what, like, why it came to my mind, but I remember asking this doctor, what are you guys doing to me? Why am I here? What are you doing? Are you trying to take my soul? And he says, no. Why would you think that we were trying to take your soul? And I was like, why am I here? And he says, no, we are not trying to take your soul. And whether y'all believe me or not, I swear up and down, you know, a lot of us practitioners, a lot of the witches associate themselves with female deities and entities in, um, especially in occult practices, we like to try to honor and channel those attributes about certain, goddesses and gods and, and things like that, especially, depending on what your practice is, who just have attributes that we like and we feel that associate with us as a person. But really, what I'm serious, what this doctor told me was that they weren't trying to take my soul, that they were trying to replace it. And I thought, replace it with what? And I think I asked him, I was like, replace it with what? With what? And he says, we're trying to replace it with a goddess. And I woke up and I remember telling my daughter's father, that morning, I kind of thought I would just forget the vision because it happens sometimes. But it was so detailed, and so vivid that I couldn't. It was sticking, throughout the morning as I was waking up. And, when I got up, he was already up and I told him, and he, thought it was interesting, but he was kind of used to me having these, um, these dreams and visions and things like that. And I related it back to that entity that I had been researching. And I won't say its name, just because it makes me uncomfortable, because of what, these small occurrences that took place after I was doing the research. And yeah, that's my second experience. I do have more. I'll try to post them. I had some things that happened to me when I was younger, way long before I started actually practicing the craft. I had two events that actually happened. They're not as, um, I guess you could say, they're a little bit more scary or uncomfortable. But thank you for watching. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. It's very early in the morning here where I'm at, but I do hope that you all have a wonderful, great, um, fulfilled day. Goodbye.